Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another video episode of Faces and Places for Cancer in Austin. My name is Samantha Kool. I'm a certified oncology esthetician here. And today I am lucky enough to be talking with a colleague of mine by the name of Aysa Province. And Aysa has a business or an organization, a nonprofit organization called Beautifully Loved. And she is the CEO and founder of this amazing organization. And I'm thrilled to have her here today so that she can share with you a little bit about what she does. So Aysa, thank you for being here and welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. I am honored to be here and appreciate your support and love working with you. So thank you for this.
Thank you for that. Would you just tell the viewers a little bit about your organization and what you do?
Yeah, so Beautifully Loved is an organization that serves and cares for families dealing with pediatric cancer or other childhood illnesses through empowerment programs based around wellness, beauty, and fashion.
Pretty amazing. That's a very short way of talking about a really robust program that I know you have. So I'd love to hear a little bit more about that as we go on. What motivated you to do that particular kind of work?
So I've always had this heart for wanting, others around me to feel loved and beautiful, just because I feel like as people, we should encourage each other that way. So I started volunteering with the Dell Children's Blood and Cancer Center around 10 years ago. And the event that I started volunteering for was their annual prom. And they host this prom for the kids in the clinic because, some of them can't go to their own prom because of their compromised immune system. And so they just want to give them this special experience that they might be missing out on. And I would always volunteer for their primping party, which was at a local beauty school. And the thing that I saw year after year was that they would come in and they were quiet and their head was down and maybe they didn't feel good or they were depleted emotionally, physically, whatever it was, and the moment they started getting their hair done and their makeup done and put on their beautiful dresses, it was like night and day. It was like there was this light to them that you didn't see earlier, and they would start talking to each other and complimenting each other, and there were giggles, and it was like a Cinderella moment is what I can explain it like. And I loved it. I loved seeing them feel that good. And and then, the prom would happen and it was just like a magical day. And after about a couple of years, I just felt like they need to feel like that more, more often than maybe that one time a year, or more often than they were given opportunities and they were given. And so I went to the clinic program director and said, okay, so I've been also styling and doing fashion shows and photo shoots at the time because I love fashion. And I asked her, I said, look, I don't know if you're going to want this or not, but how about I do a fashion show for the teen patients just to give them another chance to feel good and special. And, we can invite the community, they can cheer them on. I just knew they were going to probably say no, just because of the logistics of it. And they said, yeah, let's do it. So within, I don't know, maybe like 2 or 3 months, we put it together. We had almost no money. We had like $1,000 and a car dealership cleared out the dealership for us. And we invited the community and we had like 15 kids and hundreds of people cheering them on. And it was just an amazing day. So we kept doing it because we felt like the kids still wanted it. And after 3 years and seeing all the impact that the fashion show made on their hearts and their heads, we decided to do Beautifully Loved and serve more ages and the entire family, because the entire family goes through everything together. So our services encompass the entire family and all ages of families.
That is unbelievable. I mean, I've told you this before several times, but your story is just, it's very powerful. And when you actually look at what you started out doing and how you perceived it to be and how the ripple effect has created this much larger opportunity to touch so many more people, it's just kind of a testament to me that what you're doing is the right thing, because it's sort of grown organically, it sounds like, based on what you've said.
Yeah, I know we've talked about this before, but this was never part of the plan. Like, I never envisioned having a nonprofit. I never envisioned being where we are today. It just happened, organically, like you said. And, I did have, worries in the beginning, because would people understand what we were trying to do, and would they support what we were trying to do? When I say we're going to have a fashion show and it's, makeup and clothes, or we do a pamper day at the hospital and it's, hair braiding and nails. Like, are people going to understand this, the the power that comes in us taking care of someone and making them feel beautiful for a moment when they don't feel beautiful, or when they're going through a hard time? Are people going to understand that there's a little power or a lot of power maybe in a little bit of lipstick? So it was one of those things. Was it enough? Was it going to be relatable? Were people going to understand? And then we just kind of took a leap of faith, and we realized that our heads and our hearts really need to be taken care of. And when we're going through a hard time like cancer, or a medical diagnosis, we forget about that. We forget to, or maybe we just don't have the strength to even comb our hair. It's those things that I think about, like just showing up for them without us asking, and just putting a mirror in front of their face and saying, look how beautiful you are, look how strong you are, look how amazing you are, and you're okay, and we're going to get through this, and we're standing with you. So it's, there's a lot more meaning to the beauty, wellness, and fashion parts. It's, you know just empowering them and reminding them that they are just truly amazing.
And so, do you have a favorite event or favorite events that you host?
So, that's a tricky question, because I obviously love everything we do. We currently have 9 different programs, but we are an events-based nonprofit. So, before everything happened recently, we were hosting 2 to 3 events a month. So we've stayed pretty active and busy. The fashion show is where we all started, so that will always have a special place in my heart. Um, and it's really grown. Like, we had our 6th one this year, and we had 500 people there. So it went from begging people to come in the first place and having 500 people show up. So it's become this, very special event. But I also really love the intimate small events we do, just because that's the chance for you to really hear stories and relate to, or talk to the kids, or talk to the parents, and really understand what they're going through. um, and I think they want to share it. I think they want someone to listen to them, and support them. And so so we have small, like, one of my favorite events might be our self-esteem workshop that we do for young girls going through cancer or blood disorders. And we bring in young girls ages like 9 to 13, and then we invite our older girls who have been through it, survivors, or current patients, but just older ones. And we bring them all together, and we work with the clinic therapist from Dell Children's Hospital, or Blood and Cancer Center, sorry. And she does like the exercises, and we talk about what cancer's done to our body, what beautiful means, what insecurities we have because of the journey we've had to go through, things like that. And to hear 10-year-olds talking like seasoned adults in their situation would talk, like talking about medical procedures or medications. Were you on this medication? Did you go through this procedure? And they're 10 years old. It's just, it really opens your eyes to what cancer, or chronic illness can do to you, even at that age. And then they make friends, and they find a support group. I've had little girls become best friends because of our events. And they lift each other up, and I love seeing that. I like, at our last self-esteem workshop, we also do a beauty session, which is what the part I'm in charge of. So after we do all of our exercises, then we go and get our hair and makeup done, and we do a little shopping. And so it's just like a whole like day. And at our last event, what I really loved was, again, some girls came in quiet, and they didn't know each other, and they didn't really talk much. And then they went through the exercises, they made friends, they got their beauty treatments. Then they were going around to each other and saying, "You're so pretty. No,
Oh,
you're so pretty.
how
Oh, I love your hair." And so I was just like, oh, yes, like that.
yeah, loved it. I bet.
That's what I loved seeing, is them relate to each other and remember how beautiful each other, like it's just amazing. So I mean, things like that have a special place in my heart. So yeah. And I learned a lot from them.
We talked the other day briefly, and I can't remember actually how it came up, but we were talking about where the space is for boys, for
Right.
males in your program, and you were explaining that this is a program for everyone, and that you absolutely have both girls and boys that participate in these events. So, remind me again, what do the boys typically do?
Yeah. So I mean, there is people assume a lot that we're very girly, that's for sure. um, but yes, our goal has always been to incorporate, everyone, and especially bring in the boys when we can. They're a little harder to convince when they hear fashion show or whatever it is. They're a little harder to convince to do it. But we always find that they're almost the ones that love it the most. They're just more quiet, maybe a little embarrassed to say it. Um, so, and that was one of the things we realized too, is when we started a clothing program, and the clinic therapist would reach out to me when she knew of someone who needed clothing. Well, the majority of the kids we had clothed so far have been teen boys, and what they are is they're embarrassed to go back to school. They're embarrassed that mom can't afford clothing or new shoes or whatever, and it's giving them anxiety, but they're too, they're not gonna really say anything about it.
Yeah.
So we realized that they have a lot that they're dealing with too, and they just deal with it, sometimes in different ways. Um, so we have clothed a lot of teen boys with brand new clothing so they can go back to school feeling confident. We also had a photo shoot in November. We brought in a bunch of luxury cars, like Lamborghinis and Corvettes and all of that. And it was a boys only photo shoot, and they got their moment to shine, and they loved it. And I loved it. I love watching them in their glory and shine. And then, the fashion show, we always hope they'll join us, and they're pretty hesitant even up to the day of to do it, and then they're amazing.
And then they're
So
good. They're sold and they're part of it.
yeah, and and teenagers, like the fashion show is focused on teenagers 12 and up. But the thing is like being a teenager is hard enough as it is,
Yeah.
and there's a lot of pressure. You want to feel good and look good or whatever it is, but then you add in cancer or a diagnosis and what that does to you, whether it's lose your hair or lose weight or gain weight or whatever it may be, that's even harder.
Yeah.
And there's I feel like a lot of anxiety and, you know, mental and emotional things that come with that those of us who haven't been through it just really, really don't understand. And and so I just want to find ways to fill their hearts and, remind them that, they're pretty
I
awesome.
think you're doing a pretty amazing job of that based on the numbers and the volume that you were talking about earlier.
Mhm.
So, is there something that the viewers should do if they're interested? Let's say there's somebody watching who has a child who has a teenage daughter,
Mhm.
or who sees this video. How do they get on your list, so to speak, for events and different things that their child may want to be a part of?
Yeah, I mean, we would love that. We would love for people to reach out to us if they feel like we can, bring a little joy into their life. So the best way would be to go to our website, which is beautifullyloved.org. And if you go to the support page, one that's more of the support, but you can see the ways you can support us. But there's also a contact form. You can fill that out and it'll come directly to us, or just email us, which you can also find on the website. That's probably the best way, and then we'll get you on our list, our email list. So when events come up, we can email you and let you know. And then we also have a private Facebook group on for on our Beautifully Loved page, and it's only for family members and
Oh,
patients.
very good.
So it's only mom and dad or the patient. And that's where we also post a lot of information and quick updates. So that's where a lot of stuff is happening as well. So if they want to email us or look for that, those are like the best ways to get involved. But yeah.
So basically, it's as simple as if I'm a mom and I have a child who is going through cancer or something related, and I would like for my child to be a part of, or at least considered to be a part of some of the events that you would host, I would just reach out to you, basically give you
Yeah.
my story, our story, and then you would put us on a list and we would be made aware of the events as they come up.
Right.
If we want
Exactly.
to take part of them. Okay. All right. Or take part in them rather.
Yeah.
That
And
is
I also wanted to, sorry, make a note. We work a lot with Dell Children's Hospital, but you don't have to be a Dell Children's Hospital patient to,
okay.
be a part of our stuff. Like our hope is to reach other areas and, other children who may need this. So you don't have to be, because that's a question that we've been asked before.
Yes.
So
If you have to be directly connected. Okay.
Mhm.
That makes sense. Is there one thing about you or your life that you think is interesting or memorable?
Um, I
Other
always
than this
wonder.
amazing organization that you've started?
Yeah, I always wonder how interesting I really am. No, so I guess the most interesting thing might be that I have an international business degree from Texas Tech. So I've studied in Italy and in Mexico. I always thought that I was going to run a company one day and travel the world and be a businesswoman and all of those great things, and none of that happened. But I believe that everything happens the way it should and how it should. Um, and now I'm actually running an organization. So technically, I'm doing what I wanted to do, just in the way that I'm supposed to be doing it, I think. So, um,
Yes.
so yeah, so I'm,
So
I,
that's interesting. Absolutely.
I hope so.
What's interesting to me about that is the fact that you had a plan. That exact plan didn't roll out. You ended up in a situation that's obviously the right situation for you because just the growth of your organization proves that and supports it. But when you look at what you're doing now and what your original plan was, there are a whole lot of similarities, just not necessarily in the same places or the same types of organizations.
Right. And and that's so true because, I go back to, you know, even should I have started Beautifully Loved? Like when I was questioning, it's all about having faith and just knowing that things will happen when they should, and things, will show up as they should. And, it always works out. Like, so when things get challenging or I think I'm hitting a roadblock, I remember things have worked out okay so far, so just to have faith. But yeah, I mean, it's crazy that, I get to do what I wanted to do 15 years later, just in a different way,
In a different way.
in
Yeah.
a way that I'm passionate about. So yeah.
I just think it's all the stars aligning, right, for you and what you can bring and what you contribute is probably so much greater in this capacity than it would have been in your original plan, perhaps in a more meaningful way, in a more humanistic way. So, how can we or how can viewers best support your organization? Would that be through donations or do you actually need like manpower or woman power rather? What do you really need?
Yeah. So, of course, financially, that's something that we're always, needing to support the programs. So for example, just this last week or two, we've been buying new clothing for 13 children who are patients, cancer patients, and their siblings. So we want to take care of brothers and sisters too. So 13 to clothe 13 children, is a lot. And then when we do have our events to buy the supplies or, to whatever we need. So financially, as much as I don't love asking for money, financial support is always amazing. um, our other biggest need is, so we do a lot of um, beauty events. So we're always in need of volunteers in the beauty area. So whether that's makeup or hair or barbers for haircuts, because we do free haircuts at the hospital, which a lot of fathers use. Massages. We've cut a lot of men's hair, dad's hairs at the hospital.
Don't
We do.
say that. Don't say that in today's climate, because everybody needs a haircut so badly that
I
you'll
know.
have millions of people coming.
I know. It's crazy, right? What we're going to go back to as far as hairstyles. So yeah, massages, nails, haircuts, hairstyling, makeup. So in those capacities, photographers, we're always in need of that with those volunteers. Especially when we go back to events, we're not there right now. Another is donations. So whether that's clothing, new clothing, preferably, or gently used, or toiletries. We do a lot of care packages for moms and dads at the hospital and kids. So whether it's lotions or shampoos or self-care items, basically. And then, yeah, those are the main things I think that we need currently.
Really, I mean, that's a lot of avenues for people who want to help, because you can take monetary donations, you can take donations of actual things and clothes. You can also probably use just manpower from time to time, I'm guessing, maybe,
Right,
to
essentially.
help with events.
Yeah, so when we have our larger events, because we range from like events that have 10 kids to events that have 200 people. They range. So we always need manpower. We always need help. Like during the fashion show, we probably had, I don't know, 60 or more volunteers just to make that happen, whether it's moving tables or whatnot. So we always do need manpower. And then the other thing too is another avenue is we do a lot of Amazon wish lists. So like for one particular family, we just help, they have 8 children. So we created an Amazon wish list of items that this family could use, and we had supporters purchase items off these wish lists. So we also have one just for Beautifully Loved, and then you'll see it has things like shampoos and deodorants and hair care products, things that we can provide for the families in the hospital. So we also have those if people want to go that avenue. Might be a little easier to know exactly what we need.
How do you how do you select the families in need? I imagine there are more people in need than you all can help at any given time. So how do you make your decisions on who you're going to help?
So usually I've worked with the clinic therapist at the Blood and Cancer Center, and she'll usually either, like for example, the clothing needs in the past, she'll come to me and reach out to me. Um, or most recently, I've had families just directly come to me and say, I need help, which is great. We're happy to do that. And we've had friends of friends say, we have this family who needs help. So it's just however it comes to us, and then we address it when we can. And if we can't help them with what they need, then we know a lot of people that do a lot of amazing things outside of what we do, and we try and help them in that way. But
Refer them on. Okay, that
yeah,
makes sense. So
yeah.
there's no formal vetting process at the moment.
No, not right now. And we have been, one of the things, other thing, like currently with the climate and everything, we have been helping Adult Children's Hospital a lot. So they'll give me a list. So each week we've been making purchases and deliveries to the hospital for the families in any floor on the hospital, and they'll provide me a list of needed supplies. So last week I bought sweatpants. The week before I bought beauty care products. The week before I bought clothing. The week before I bought toiletries. So I do get lists that way too, from the hospital that say this is specifically what we need. And if there is a family, then I'll help that family that needs a specific.
You're an interesting interview for me, because you're set up as a nonprofit. And so you're not just somebody who's providing services to the oncology community, but you also need help from people so that you can continue to do that. So I want to make sure that in this video today, that people that are watching understand that you provide a lot of really wonderful services for self-esteem, and then actual things like kids that need clothes and don't have them. You've got a really robust program, but in order for your program to continue, you rely on the care of the help of strangers too. And people that understand what you're doing and support it. So it's kind of a twofold.
It is, and it's so true. Like I truly do need support, and it's hard to ask for a lot during this climate. But we are every week doing things that I don't know that people fully understand, or maybe we're not showing enough. But we're spending a lot each week, and we're supporting a lot of people each week,
Yes.
and we're not necessarily going out into the community, because we also are aware of our demographics, which are immune compromised families. So, I've been trying to do a lot of things, where we can do it safely. Um, but yeah, with the 9 programs we have, about half of them are pretty active right now. And we are supporting a lot of people right now. Yeah. And, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that to the world enough, but we're doing a lot, and we really do need support. And I know a lot of amazing people are doing a lot of amazing things. So I'm sure it's hard to figure out where to give and whatnot, but any support we can get, it is doing a lot of good, and we can promise that.
Well, and I think from my perspective, I just want people to be clear when they finish watching our segment, um, video segment, that they know that if they need something from you, or if they are in a position to be able to utilize some of the wonderful offerings that they have, or that you have, that they could use, that really for them, it's no more than just reaching out to you through your website
Right.
and letting you know what their situation is. And if you can find a place to plug them in and find the resources that will be helpful, you'll do that.
Right.
On the other side, people that are watching this video that think, what an amazing organization, which it is, have the opportunity to easily donate time, resources, money, all sorts of things to help your mission. Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, all of that. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
The last question is just, what's the best way to reach you? And I think you've just said through your website.
Through our website is the best way to reach us. People can message us on Facebook or Instagram, but the best way would be through our website or through our email. Email us directly.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that information will be attached and captioned with this video for anybody who needs it. So that's all we have. We've come to the end of our short list of questions, and I'm so thankful again for your time and energy and compassion, and just thankful to know that there's somebody like you in the world. So
Much. I mean, and I'm very grateful to you for shining the light on us in the community who are doing these things. We're all putting our love and heart into these passion projects, or this passion work of ours, and we all take it personal. And so with you supporting me, I feel very honored and empowered myself. So thank you.
well, I think it's very much a mutual admiration society, excuse me, that we have going on. So I'm thankful for you. I appreciate your time, and I'll just look forward to seeing you soon.
Yeah, I'm
All right.
excited. Sounds good.
Take
Thank
care.
you.
Bye.
Bye.